court has effectively ended affirmative action in college admissions, and I strongly disagree with the court's decision.
It is going to have astounding effects on universities across the nation. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled to strike down affirmative action policies, overturning decades of legal policy and changing admission policies across the nation.
A bombshell decision today as Conservative Chief Justice John Roberts saying higher education can no longer take race into consideration as a factor for granting admission to students. In a major 6-3 U.S. Supreme Court ruling, conservatives on the court say affirmative action violates the 14th Amendment. 3 liberal justices dissented. The court had heard 2 cases challenging the admissions policies involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina. In October, after nearly 5 hours of oral arguments, Justice Clarence Thomas expressed his skepticism about affirmative action.
I've heard the word diversity quite a few times, and I don't have a clue what it means. It seems to mean everything for everyone.
In the first case, Edward Blum argued that Harvard discriminates against Asian American applicants by using subjective standards to score their personalities. In the second, he alleged that the University of North Carolina discriminates against white and Asian American students by giving preference to Black, Hispanic, and Native American applicants. Both institutions deny the allegations, and President Joe Biden spoke out today against the ruling.
They should not abandon their commitment to ensure student bodies of diverse backgrounds. What I propose for consideration is a new standard, where colleges take into account the adversity a student has overcome when selecting among qualified applicants.
This ruling forces institutions of higher education to look for new ways to achieve diverse student bodies. The court found race could be used as part of an admissions essay, but those essays cannot be used to circumvent what the court has just ruled. And it didn't take long for our major universities to weigh in on this.
The consensus, they're all still promising to prioritize diversity among their student body, faculty, and staff. WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez talked to a handful of college authorities today. And Isaiah, what they tell you about it is this decision came out about mid-morning today, so they've really been having to look it over.
Sure, and they wasted no time. Doug Shea obviously gave similar answers here as far as to their reviewing of the details of this ruling. They say they're still in the midst of doing that, but at the same time, there's a collective support to maintain an inclusive college campus. U of L said they will continue to be committed to diversity. Part of the statement reading, quote, "Through legally permissible means, we will continue to foster and sustain an environment of inclusiveness that empowers all to achieve their highest potential." Over at Bellarmine, a spokesperson saying they, quote, will continue to take a holistic approach when reviewing applications for admission. And as for UK, they said, quote, "It appears we can consider an applicant's discussion of how race has affected their life," end quote. No university we contacted would go on camera for an interview, but U of L Pan-African Studies professor Dr. Ricky Jones shared his thoughts with me today.
The question is, what is Black America going to do? How are we going to respond to this? Because the message that we're getting in a lot of these places that neither we nor our children are really welcome in these spaces. So there's just a chilling effect. This isn't just concerning, it's terrifying.
Meanwhile, the Louisville Urban League also responded today saying, quote, "Striking down affirmative action policies in higher education harms young people who deserve an opportunity to learn, grow, and become, not be shut out of America's promise." And again, our major local universities saying they'll continue to look over the details of this decision to measure exact impact and, of course, be prepared to fully comply with this new directive. Doug.
Isaiah, thank you very much. Good reactions there coming in today, and stay with us. We've got more for you. Coming up at 5:13 tonight, that's just in a few minutes from now. We're going to be joined by the Chief of Staff of Simmons College of Kentucky, J. Michael Brown. This decision was a shocker at their Louisville offices today. Reaction is coming right up. More local news right here at 5. A father is in jail after his 1-year-old daughter died from fentanyl.
Investigators arrested Christopher Van Meter just this week, months after they say his child was found unresponsive. Now, his daughter's mother speaking out about the case. Alexis Jones sat down with her today as she described the horrific phone call when she found out what happened.
You're my best friend.
Lyrics Caitlin Carrico loved to sing to her baby girl.
I felt really close, and I felt like she changed me as a mom. Overall, she changed my life, and now that she's gone, my life's been changed again.
1-year-old Cameron Faye died from fentanyl intoxication on August 6, just days after her first birthday.
I got the phone call at 8:50 in the morning. It's telling me that my baby wasn't breathing. Once I arrived at the hospital, I then learned she was already gone.
Cameron was staying at her father's house at the time. Carrico says he struggled with drug addiction.
He told me he was clean. He promised that he would never put my baby in harm's. No father should, and I don't even consider him a father.
Christopher Van Meter was arrested Wednesday and is being held at Metro Corrections. He's charged with manslaughter, trafficking controlled substances, and wanton endangerment. Carrico prays he doesn't get more than 10 years behind bars, but even then, Cameron's loved ones say no amount of time will be enough.
You took a baby. You took my baby. You took her life. I just don't feel like you can take a baby's life and then you get out and live yours.
In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS11 on your side.
Now, according to the overdose report for 2022, more than 5 kids up to 14 years old overdose in Kentucky. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, there are resources for you. We're putting them on the screen for you right now. Call this number, 1-800-662-4357. They will connect you with the help you need. A Louisville woman charged with attempted murder of a 6-year-old boy and her sister appeared in court today. 28-year-old Sequoia Porter, seen right here in yellow, is being held on $1 million bond. The stabbing happened on Wednesday morning on Bruns Drive in a neighborhood right behind the Kroger store on Dixie Highway. Officers believe there was a fight between Sequoia and her sister. Porter then allegedly stabbed her 6-year-old son and her sister several times. The judge today reading from the police report saying Porter's 9-year-old daughter was also interviewed.
During a forensic interview, Sequoia Porter's 9-year-old daughter advised Ms. Porter held 6-year-old victim over 3rd floor balcony railing while saying, "Die, demon."
Porter in a wooded area of an apartment complex in PRP hours after the stabbing. Police later say she also attempted to escape from the Louisville jail, the holding cell there at Metro Corrections, slipping out of her handcuffs while she was being booked, but she was quickly arrested on Liberty Street downtown, right near 6.
New today, Kentucky State Police has released body cam video of the officer-involved shooting that happened in Louisville on June 19th. We do want to warn you this may be disturbing to some.
Police! Give me a hand!
In a slowed down version of the video, you can see a much clearer picture of what happened here. It was reported as an attempted carjacking of an undercover police officer in the Portland neighborhood. Officers were watching a house on the street for an unrelated investigation. The video shows Mark Jaggers Jr. wearing all black and a face covering, coming up to the driver's side, opening the door with a gun aimed at the officers. That's when one of the detectives fired multiple shots at Jaggers. The officers fired rounds from his service weapon, hitting Jaggers, who then falls to the ground. Feet from him, you can see a gun laying in the grass. It takes minutes before other officers begin rendering aid to Jaggers. Jaggers did die from his injuries.
Also here tonight at 5, an Indiana State Police trooper was killed while helping in the chase of a stolen car. The driver of that car has been arrested and charged. This happened in Hendricks County, Indiana. That's just west of Indianapolis. ISP says Trooper Aaron Smith was deploying stop sticks for a stolen car to try to stop it when the driver hit him. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Trooper Smith was 33 years old, married, and had worked for ISP for 5 years.
We've hired a lot of people, and he was one of those guys that stood out. And you all know who those people are, and that's what I'll always remember about him. He was not cliche, but he was a shining star within the state police.
Police said the driver was 18-year-old Eddie Jones Jr. He's charged with murder. Jones and one of his passengers, 19-year-old Damarian Curry, are facing theft charges. A 15-year-old girl who was reported missing from Missouri was also in the car. She is not facing any charges in this case.